Yeah, recording.
All right, we are recording and ready to go. So today we're doing an impromptu Zoom together. I know that not many people could jump on because it was so last minute, but I did a vision exercise the other day and it was so awesome that I just wanted to share it with everybody, which is why I am doing the Zoom so that we can do it together. And then the recording is there for anyone that wants to access it later. But I think vision is really, really important because if we don't know why we're working and what we're working towards, it's so easy to give up. And it's so easy to, let yourself get off track and let yourself get off the hook. And I find that the days that I'm not focused on where I'm going and like my bigger picture, I'm not as motivated. But when I know and I'm reminding myself, then I actually want to get into the work and I want to start inviting people and talking to people and getting the no's and doing all of those things because I know what the purpose is. And so I actually read, so the exercise I'm going to take you through, how I ended it with when I wrote everything down, which is going to be your homework. It's going to take a bit of time for you to do. I've been reading that to myself for the past 3 mornings. So I'll do my personal development, I'll do my gratitude journal, and then I'll read this vision to myself, and I feel like a completely different person. And I've always done probably about 8 years ago, I wrote down a day in the life of my future self. So when I was my future self, what is the perfect day in that life? And I wrote it down and had it as a movie in my head, but I haven't done it since. I haven't spent the time to sit down since 8 years ago to physically write it out and get into that habit of reading it to myself every day. So make sure you got a pen and paper so you can take notes, because this is going to be an exercise that you might be able to do a little bit as we go, but the predominant, the most of the work you'll do probably at some stage over the weekend, because it took me about 2 or 3 hours to go through because I wanted to do it properly, right? If you're going to do something, you might as well do it properly. So the magic question that I asked myself was, Belinda, and you're going to ask yourselves this, but not my name, your name. If you had all the money and time in the world, what would your life look like in 2 to 3 years? And it's really important here to remind ourselves not to play small, because we think, 2 to 3 years, that's not a lot of time. Okay, I might have achieved this, I might have achieved that, or that's really a 5-year goal, that's a 10-year goal. But not to play small, because if we have our goals, if we minimize them, then that's the maximum we're actually going to achieve. But if we have them bigger, then even if we don't get there in the time frame that we set out, we're going to be so much further than just if we did the minimum. And if you think about something, if something pops into your head, write it down. I'm going to go through how many categories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different categories with a couple of questions in each category to get your creative juices flowing. And at the end, if you guys want me to, I will read out my vision so that you get an idea of how it all comes together. So the first category is your job or your career or your business, or whatever you want to call it. So basically how you make your money. So write down your job, and then I'm going to say the questions, the triggers to ask. So what are you doing? How many hours a day are you working? Where are you working from? And with whom are you working? Do you have a team? And if so, what do they do? Do you have a mentor? And are you a master of your craft? Before I move on to the next category, does anyone have any questions about that one or want me to repeat anything in that category? Number 3, okay. Where are you working? Good to go to the next one? Yes? Okay, fantastic. So next one is your finances. So the money. What is your annual income? Now remember, we're not thinking small. We're thinking if time and money was no object and you're playing big, right? What's your annual income? Do you get bonuses? How much do you have in savings? Are you investing? How are your investments doing? And the more specific with all of that, the better. So that's the finance section. Any questions about that one or clarity before we go on to section 3? All good? Alrighty. Next one is your home. So your home, what does it look like? Where is it? It could be by the ocean, it could be in the hills. Do you have a pool? Is there a guest house? Do you have animals? I know James's dream property, we have about 65,000 animals. And they're all chickens and geese and llamas he wants as well. My goodness. I've said as long as I don't have to look after them, you can have whatever you want. All right, that's your home. Next one is your relationships. Oh, I can see a question in the chat box. Let me just bring that up. Carol, hello. Can you go over it again, please? Sure. Let me know which one you want me to go over again. Just type it and I'll say it again for you. I'm recording it as well. So if you've missed the beginning, then you can catch the recording. So relationships. Are you single? Are you married? What is your relationship like with your significant other? Do you have weekly date nights? Do you have a passionate relationship? What about your immediate family? What's your relationship with them like? Do you have family dinners? Do you laugh together, talk together? Next one is, what kind of friendships do you have? Are they supportive and encouraging? And what do you do together? Carol, finance. Okay, so Carol, the money one was, what is your annual income? Do you get bonuses? How much do you have in savings? Are you investing? And how are your investments going? All right, everyone good for relationships? Yep, cool. We've got 2 more categories to go. So your body. Are you strong? Are you energetic? Are you well rested? I think that's one a lot of people miss when talking about their bodies. I think it's just as important as exercise. Sleep. Are you flexible, agile, feel great in your own skin? How do you show up in your workouts? And do you have a healthy relationship with food? We all got on that category? Yes? Awesome. I'm going through this pretty quickly, so I'm going to share something else as well that I did in getting clarity on my affirmations. So if you guys want to hear about that, then I'll share that as well when we finish this one, because this is going pretty fast. Now, free time and community is the next category. So what do you do in your free time? Do you have any hobbies? How often are you participating in them? It might be playing an instrument. I know we have some dancers on here. Do you like to travel? What do you do for fun? And what luxuries do you enjoy? Remember, this is 2 to 3 years from now, thinking bigger. Like, what would you do to truly make yourself happy in your downtime without thinking about how much it costs or how much time it costs? And how do you give back to your community? Do you volunteer? Do you donate? If you donate, what charities do you donate to? What are the causes that are important to you? Get really, really specific on it. And they are the 6 categories. And so what I did is I just took like all my bullet points from each category and wrote like a sentence on each of them, and then made that, like combined all of the sentences together and just wrote it out in one big long form. So do you guys want to hear mine? You do? All right, I'm not getting away with it then. That means when you do yours, I want to hear it more, right? Okay, so this is mine, and I've been reading it every morning for the past 3 mornings, and I absolutely love doing it. It's phenomenal. Okay, so here is my vision. I'm a Black Diamond leading lifestyle warriors and have 10 personally sponsored diamonds who are all building this business full-time around their families. I work 4 hours a day and make $250K per year after tax. I work from my Mac in my home office, overlooking our pool and 50-acre property. Sorry, I just had to mute someone. Where am I up to? Our team are building their brands and businesses on social media, building a 6-figure empire. I'm in the top 10 worldwide, am an elite club member, and the first international member to serve on the DAB. Annually, I make $325,000, which is $250,000 after tax, which is $6,250 per week, minus $1,442 in tax, which equals $4,807 weekly. It's said to get specific, right? I have $10,000 in savings and have 0 credit card debt and 0 mortgage debt. Our property and stock investments make us $5,000 per month. We live on a 50-acre property southwest Western Australia with rolling green hills and lots of trees. Our home is 3 levels, including a basement, and is a modern farmhouse style inside. We host retreats for our team, and our children each have their own in-laws suite. There is a massive workshop for James's work and his cars. James and I are besties and proud of each other's accomplishments. We have created opportunities for our children so they can follow their passion and be independent and happy without chasing the dollar. Thursday is date day. We have an incredibly close relationship with our kids and come together every night to watch something funny as a family. We all go out and do something fun together as a family each week. I'm the fittest and strongest I've ever been and have absolutely zero worries putting on a bikini. I sleep amazing every night, still living by my philosophy, early to sleep and early to rise. I feel confident in my own skin and 100% happy with my age and appearance. I work out every day in my home gym, drink loads of water and eat healthily. James and I love going to the movies and going on walks around our property. James donates time and money to the homeless to become qualified tradies and sets up their accommodation. I travel to all major Zesra events and host leadership retreats, and every year we take a big family holiday. That is my vision. So I want to make sure you guys share yours with me as well. That's pretty daunting, right? Really, because putting yourself, like I know each of you guys know me so well, but still I think having a vision and thinking about how you want your life to be in 2 to 3 years, that's way out of everyone's comfort zone, right? If you're thinking money and time is like don't think about that. Just think about what you truly want, putting it down on paper and then sharing, like saying that to yourself every single morning makes a massive difference. But I haven't even read that to James yet. So that's the first time I've shared that with someone. So you've got to make sure you send me yours so that I get to hear all of yours vision. All right. We have about 10 minutes left. So before I jump on, like I quickly go over to do the affirmation thing, which is something I've been working on this week as well because I wanted to improve that because I've never been great at affirmations. Does anyone have any questions or comments or anything they'd like to share about that vision, or maybe even share like your commitment to writing it out this weekend? Share with me your thoughts if you have any.
I can perhaps.
Go for it, Dad.
Look, I just think it's incredibly important. I know it's as you said before, Belinda, it's so very, very easy to get off track and to get to the point where you think, I'm doing everything I can, doesn't seem to be working, and the enthusiasm just wanes a little bit because you stop thinking about your why, you start getting the self-doubt coming in, and not that you aren't interested, but that excitement, that thrill that you have when you are not just committed, but when you know the possibilities and embrace what they could be. Yeah. So you need to constantly have these things in the back of your mind. If you do that sort of thing every day, it's got to keep you up there and confident. I'm not one to put photos of stuff on fridges and so forth. I'm more wanting to sit down and read, like this idea of yours, Belinda, is excellent. I'm glad you listened to me. So that's pretty much all I've got to say. It's a great idea, and it's so easy, as I said, to get off track, to relax, and it's easy to make excuses. And after you make your first excuse, they become easier and easier and easier. I'm all for it. Thank you.
That's so true. Thanks for sharing, Dad. And Carol, you and Kev are going to do yours this weekend. Awesome. So good. Anyone else want to share?
Can I book my room with you now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. James will be our butler.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
He'll come pick you up in one of his restored cars, I'm sure. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's a vision I've had ever since I started Zesra, is I wanted a property to be able to host retreats for our team. It's the driving force as to why we want acreage down south. That's the main reason. So I cannot wait to start hosting them and having you guys all come over.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome.
I'm in.
Excellent. Cool. So we're all committed to doing our visions. Robin, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's amazing what you're saying about retreats, because after our special one in Bali and how much it did for me, I've come back here with the idea that on Magnetic Island there's a Bali style place that was for sale for many years ago, and that'd make a lovely retreat. So I'm all into this retreats, and I'd come to yours in Margaret River, and if I get mine going, you can come back to mine.
Awesome. So cool. Alrighty.
I'll do my stuff this weekend.
So what I'll share is, I mean, is anyone really good at affirmations? Does anyone love affirmations, do them daily?
Carolyn wanted to say something there, Belinda. I think you missed that.
Sorry, Dad?
I think Carolyn wanted to say something. I think you missed it.
Carolyn.
Away at the time.
Oh, that's okay.
Go for it. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say how good it was that you got so specific. So I think it's easy to be quite general, but it's much harder to be specific. And when you were going through, well, the ones that stuck out for me was the financial ones. You've gone right down to your investments, how much they were making, right down to your annual income, what you were paying in tax, how much you were making per week. So when you kind of drill down and get very specific about it, then you kind of know what you're looking at and then what you have to do to achieve that, I guess. So being so specific, that was something that I found, very interesting. And I think for me, that'll probably be a challenge to get really specific. It'll be easy for some areas for me, but it'll be harder for others. So it's a good exercise to do. Yeah.
And I got so specific in that one because I realized in doing this exercise that has been a limiting belief for me. Like, I've always dreamt of this amazing life of having this big property and retiring, James, and all of that. But it's always been like, okay, yeah, well, when I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if the government's just going to take half the money and blah, 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 right? But when I actually went onto the ATO's website and worked out exactly how many cents per dollar I would need to be making to have my take-home income be that $250K. So that now that I've wiped out that limiting belief, because I'm like, okay, well, I know exactly how much I need to pay in tax. So I just need to earn above that. So it doesn't matter, right? And when I've read a lot of biographies of incredibly successful people, like Richard Branson's one comes to mind, his goal was to pay in tax what he used to earn yearly. And then he just keeps upping that ante, because the more money he's paying in tax, it means the more of an impact that he's making. And so he loves that he gets to pay more and more tax every year. I mean, the fact for us that we are working for ourselves, we have so many deductions, right? Our phone bill. I was talking to an accountant the other day and she said, Belinda, you do stuff on social media, right? And I said, yes. And she said, okay, your hairdressing appointment is a tax deduction because you have to look good for social media. It's a part of your job. I'm like, oh, when's my next hair appointment? So there's so many tax deductions that we can have. Our product, we basically drink our tax deductions every single day. And so that finance one is one that I knew I wanted to push myself to get the most specific on, because the whole tax thing has previously been a limiting belief for me. So I'm glad that you picked that up, Carolyn. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so with 5 minutes to go, I'm really crap at affirmations. I know that we're meant to do them, and I know how powerful they can be, but really, whenever I tried, I'd be like, yeah, well, that's a lie, because that's not true yet. Like, and I always felt like, and you know how they say fake it till you make it? I believe that to some extent, but when I'm physically telling myself something and like looking in the mirror and saying something, like, it was just fake. I just felt fake when I was just pretending. Like, I don't want to pretend, I want it to actually be real. So I was looking up different ways to do affirmations and then how to actually make them apply to you. And one thing that I found was doing like contrast affirmations. So the first step is to write down 10 things in your life that you don't like right now. So 10 things in your life that you don't like right now. And I'm going to share some of my examples, okay? So these are some of the things that I wrote down. The amount of new team members that I'm enrolling. I don't like that. My goal is five a month, new team members, 5 a month, because I know if I do that, then I'm going to be hitting, you know, Premier, working up to Elite 40. So I don't like that. So the amount of new team members I am enrolling is something I don't like. And then to work out the affirmation of that, it gave me how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 ways to start the sentence so it doesn't feel fake. All right, so I'm going to read those out to you. First way, I love knowing that. I love knowing that, etc., etc. The opposite of what you don't like. It feels good to know that. More and more I feel. One of my favorites, I'm in the process of. That makes it feel more authentic. I love how it feels when. It excites me to. I love seeing. I have no doubt. So then that example that I use, well, it's not an example because it's actually what I wrote. The amount of new team members I'm enrolling is something I don't like. And my affirmation, which this calls it a clarity statement instead of an affirmation, a clarity statement. I love knowing that I am learning to become a top recruiter. Because it's something I am working on every day that doesn't feel fake to me. Me saying I'm the #1 recruiter, I'm the top recruiter, like, well, no, you are. No, you're not. Like, there's people that probably enrolled 30 people last month. You're nowhere near the top. But I love knowing that I'm learning to become a top recruiter. Where is a different example of a different beginning of the sentence? Okay, so one of my other ones that I don't like is James still working, right? He still works 1 week a month. So my affirmation is, I love how it feels having James home. So I think when you attach emotion to it, it's meant to work better. One more example is that we're not living on a big property yet. So I've written, oh no, I've used the same beginning for that. I wrote, I love knowing that we will end up living on 50 acres. What's a different one? Okay, not going on big family holidays. Like, I travel a lot, but we don't always take the kids. So not going on big family holidays. I've written, it excites me to take my family on holidays. So yeah, they are some examples. So write down the 10 things that you don't like, and then list those 10 things, but the opposite, starting with one of those sentence beginners so that it doesn't feel fake. Does that all make sense? Yes? Okay, awesome. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to add before we wrap up? No, it's going to be a vision weekend. Yes?
Visioning.
Fantastic. Awesome. Cool. All right, well, thanks for joining me, guys. I look forward to hearing your visions. Feel free to email them to me so I can read them. I'd love to cheer you on and to see what you guys are working for and what excites you, so we can all celebrate each other when they all become our reality. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. See you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye now.
Jude. Hi, Jude.
Jude, I can chat with you soon too. Yeah.